You guys all probably know the story by now. When Michael Jordan was 15 years old, he got cut from the varsity basketball team. He tried out and didn't make the team. His coach told Michael Jordan he wasn't good enough to play the sport he loved. He could have quit right there, right? How many of us would have just given up, would have just stopped and said, you know what? We tried, it's not for us. It would have been really easy for him to give up right there. But thank God he didn't. Could you imagine if Michael Jordan had quit right then and there, if he never went on to play basketball after that day? We're talking no game winner at North Carolina. We're talking no free throw line dunk, no Air Jordan tennis shoes, no Jordan brand line to follow that, right? I know I got plenty of shoes and clothes that bear the Jordan name that never would have existed. We wouldn't have had Space Jam, right? And I'm not even talking about his 6 championship rings and his Hall of Fame basketball career. The greatest to ever play never would have played. He could have given up then. But obviously, Michael Jeffrey Jordan did not stop playing basketball. Instead, he turned that disappointment into motivation. Years later, during his epic NBA career, he talked about the motivation that he got from getting cut. Let me read you what he said. Whenever I was working out and I got tired, I closed my eyes and I'd see that list in the locker room without my name on it. That usually got me going again. So let me say 2 things about this, right? 2 lessons that I learned from the story of Michael Jeffrey Jordan getting cut at 15 years old. The first thing is disappointments happen. And I don't know how old you are. I don't know if you haven't had a lot of disappointments yet. Maybe you're young, or maybe you've just lived a pretty fortunate life, so life's gone pretty well for you. But let me tell you, eventually, something's gonna happen. Well, honestly, if you're watching this, something has happened over the last 6 months in 2020 that has been a disappointment, I guarantee you. I can't imagine how you've gone through 2020 so far and haven't had major disappointments, but let's say you haven't. Let's say you haven't had disappointments yet. Let me just let you know that disappointments will come, that things are gonna happen. In fact, Jesus promised in this world you will have trouble, but take heart, for I have overcome the world. Don't forget about that second part, but first of all, think about that. You will have disappointments, you will have trouble, things will be hard. You might lose a job, you might, God forbid, lose a family member. Things are gonna happen in life that just plain suck. The second thing I want you to know is disappointments don't have to stop you. They don't have to destroy you. They don't have to set you back in big ways. You can actually use those disappointments as motivation, just like Michael Jordan did, right? He said when he was tired, if he was working out and he didn't want to do that last set, he could close his eyes and see that list, and that was the motivation he needed. In the 4th quarter of a basketball game, I'm sure he wasn't ever really lacking for motivation, but if, let's say he was and he was tired and he had to rise up for one more game winner, he could use that motivation, that disappointment of you saying, I'm not good enough. Well, guess what? I'm gonna show you that I am. So disappointment, failure doesn't actually have to be that bad of a thing. Don't let it break you. Instead, let it fuel you. And then it can actually make you better.